All right, folks, this is where rubber hits the road. We're going to try and interpret these deed calls in our boundary calc drawing that we have set up here for this little boundary survey we're doing in northeast Stockton on Wilmarth Road and Highway 88. So I got my boundary calc drawing open here. Let's take a look at our deed. Don't like the deed, folks. I don't like it. It's a mess. I can't tell. It looks like maybe a surveyor wrote this. It's a horrible land description. So there you go. There's that unfiltered opinion. All right, so let's read through this. The land herein referred to is situated in the state of California, County San Joaquin, and is described as follows: portion of Lot 3. Wilmarth A. Hildreth Tract. That's our controlling subdivision. Filed for record September 7th, 1901. So it's 126 years old. 124 years old, sorry. In volume 3 of Maps and Plats. They misspelled Plats. Page 15, San Joaquin County Records, line southerly of the southerly line of the land described in deed to Merle Eldon Yates et Ux. That means and others. Recorded November 6th, 1967 in volume 3164 of official records at page 480. I do not have that deed, and I need to get it. I can't get it online. I actually have to order it direct from the recorders. It says, also accept therefrom the northerly 15 feet of the remainder described above. So they're giving you all of Lot 3 south of this parcel, except for the northerly 15 feet, and except the westerly 20 feet in Wilmarth. It's Wilmarth Road. They said Wilmarth Lane. This is just this. This is really sloppy work somebody did here. Yeah, I will probably rewrite this legal description for the nonprofit and see if we can get a corrective deed filed. I don't normally do that. I don't normally like to do that, but this is bad enough that I might do it. All right, more particularly described as. So now they're going to describe this up above. Commencing at the southeast corner of the land conveyed to Merle Eldon Yates and Barbara J. Yates, his wife, as joint tenants by instrument recorded November 6, 1967 in Book 3164 of Official Records, page 480, San Joaquin County Records. Said point being the southeast corner of said property described in this instrument number. I pulled this. It just kind of refers back to this deed, so it's a little bit of a circular reference. Thence along the east line of said Lot 3, 15 feet south to the two-pointed beginning. So this is all commencement here. Then they go parallel to the south line of the Yates land, 328 feet. More or less to the easterly line of Wilmarth Lane is shown upon said map. Then they go southerly along the easterly line of Wilmarth Lane, 557.63 feet. Then easterly along the northerly line of Waterloo Road, 351.22 feet, more or less to the east line of said Lot 3. Then north along the said east line of Lot 3, 432.05 feet to the point of true beginning. This has got to be an attorney. I don't know. There's a seal there that makes it seem like it. It's got to be a registered civil engineer. Okay, though there's a lot here. We're going to learn a lot as we go through this, and we won't get through it in one video. So, for example, this call here along the highway has a more or less to it, even though it's shown to the nearest hundredth of a foot, which indicates that if we're going to let something rubber band, we probably got to let that rubber band. And I don't, just based on, I cheated, I looked at this before and looked at some other docs. I don't think we're going to know the exact direction of our north-south line. That's open to some interpretation. So there's some things we're going to have to figure out here. So let's take a look at this real quick. All right, so I'm going to do half and half again. Okay. So I believe this line that they're starting on is, so they're starting over here on the, this is lot, by the way, this is lot 3. So we're starting on the east side of lot 3. And I think their true point of beginning, I believe, is this point where we have our north, our client has their block wall here on the north line. So they commence at a point that is 15 feet north of here. And it's a little hard to tell, but I think what happened is at some point, and I remember talking to the folks that were involved with the construction of this facility here they gave some land to the neighbors. Now, this deed makes it seem like it's 15 feet. But if you open that IN number, it makes it seem like it's 10 feet. So now I have a discrepancy. Let's look at that other deed real quick. Did I drop it in here? No, because I was being lazy. Sorry. Download. Oh, you know what? I forgot to download it. I'm sorry. I'll have to pull it again from Data Tree. So hopefully some of that will get answered for me when I pull this book here, 3164. I think the neighbors to the north here own they own 3164 plus either 10 or 15 feet, and we might actually be able to figure that out. Let's go look at the tax assessor map, because that might help us figure this out. Okay, so we have these lots are kind of odd sizes, but let's just take 88 minus 15 and see if that's 63. Maybe these were two 63-foot lots. And I don't even know how they did this, because I didn't find a lot line adjustment. Like, they might have cowboy deeded this land to the neighbor, which is horrible. So let's take 88 minus 15. Okay, so that's 73 feet. Yeah, so it's there's just not any even amounts here. So this is just kind of this is a cluster. And I think they might have done a legal land swap without a lot line adjustment here. This is a mess. I don't know that for sure. Normally, if there's a lot line adjustment, these two deeds would be referring to the lot line adjustment. I think they just cowboyed this. So we'll find out here. Okay, so we're starting here. I don't know. At some point, they gave 10 or 15 feet to the neighbor. I probably can't figure that out till I get that old deed. So I want you to understand, I don't know exactly. I don't know how to start coming from the north, which is the way our deeds are written. Right? So I got to get that historic deed. So we're going to do this backwards. We're going to put it in for the south, because I know where this line is. But at some point I got to bring this north line in from the north to see if there's a gap or overlap. Okay, so you imagine now I figure out where this deed is, and I start coming down, whatever. I start up here probably at some point, and I start coming down the chain of deeds. I got to know that what I have left over matches what's in the deed, or there's a gap or overlap here, right? And what that might require, guys, I don't know, is I might have to go in and pull every one of these deeds. This is why boundary surveys can be expensive. But I'm going to get that old deed first. I'm going to get this the old deed that's referred to here that we tacked 10 or 15 feet on. See if I can figure it out. Okay, but for now, I'm going to put the deed in from the south line along Waterloo Road, Highway 88, and see if the line we get lands close to the stinking block wall. This block wall up here. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So let's go back to the deed. So I believe it starts here, and then it goes parallel to the south line of Yates, 328 feet over to here. Now, I don't know which direction to go, so I don't know if it's perpendicular or parallel, so we'll see in a minute. We're going to look. There's some different, if it's perpendicular here or if it's something else. There's probably 3 or 4 different ways we can put in that line. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so they come across here in the deed to this line, and then they go down the line. They go southerly along the easterly line of Wilmarth Lane, 557.63 feet. Okay, so what we can do is we can come down here, and I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to use the lines from the record survey next door. I think are the good lines. So I'm going to hold those for kind of my framework. I'm going to go 557.63 feet. This is why we're doing this in a calc drawing. Okay, now you can see I've already got a problem there because I'm not hitting that wall, right? So that sucks. Okay, now let's just, for now, we're just going to put that in perpendicular to that line. Okay, and you can see, I'm way we're way off here. This is one of the advantages of having a UAV ortho photo is you can immediately get this kind of feedback. So let's just see what's our gap here. Now it may be that when I put this line in coming from the north that it lands right here on the wall. But right now we got a discrepancy. It is 3.5 feet, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, but for now, we're going to leave it. I'm going to leave that line in. So we came in backwards. We went up this call. Okay, the 557.63 feet. Okay, then they go 351.22. Okay, up to this east line of lot 3. And we're basically going to hold the record on Wong's map. Let's see. So Wong has 351.14, and our deed has 351.22. So pretty close, within several hundreds. Okay, then we go back up 432.05. So we're going to draw a circle here. Now, it frickin' lands pretty frickin' close to a perpendicular line, right? Four hundredths. I mean, we basically can't measure that. So I'm going to leave it in there right now, perpendicular. In other words, I'm going to add the 400ths to that call. I'm going to leave it in perpendicular. Okay, so we've got a shape that closes relatively well here with a perpendicular lot line across the top. The problem is my wall's way over. You know, I mean, there's a small chance that is the UAV ortho, but probably not. You know, it looks like the wall got built just on the inside of our property line, which is what I would expect. You know, that looks pretty good to me. You know, that wall's right where I would expect it to be. The wall ends somewhere in here. It's a little hard to see in the tree branches. Okay, so I got some problems. I got a wall that encroaches. I think there might have been an illegal transfer of land here, a 10 or 15 foot strip to the neighbor. Doesn't mean it's not valid. It just was illegal. They probably should have done a lot line adjustment, and I got a wall that encroaches. So I got to go back to my client and say, all right, hey, what can you tell me about the land that was given to the neighbor? I need some details on that. You know, was there a lot line adjustment done? Who prepared the deeds? I got to find out, like, did you guys get a survey when you built? Because my wall's off. So, yeah, we got some problems. Now, the other thing that would be good to do is, you know, we could put some notes in here about how we calculated this line, you know. So I held this deed distance. I let this deed distance float coming north from the highway, but I only let it float 400ths, and it fits good with a perpendicular tie across here. This is probably the line I'm going to end up holding on the survey here, but I got to do some digging, and we may have some title issues to clean up. You know, we may have to do a corrective deed or a quiet title action here, especially if they did an illegal transfer of land to the neighbors. So I'll call the client and we'll get some of that figured out. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I will do some more digging. I'll get this historic deed, and I'll go talk to the neighbor or the client about the land swap. And when I have some of that stuff figured out, we'll come back in here and we'll make adjustments if we need to, and we'll come up with our final resolved boundary line work. And then I can show you guys how we'll do the corrective land description if we need it, and the record of survey. So thanks for watching.